Justin, we're so excited to hear from you. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Jess, how are you, man?
Doing great, thanks. How are you?
I'm well. I know that you have a new role. Why don't you tell everybody about that? And I'd love to get your insights on how you observe that. And I think that may help some people with the way they're observing their new role. Like, how do you attack a new role?
Yeah, I think, I'd worked on the global Oreo business for many years. So incredibly valuable because it gave me perspective on sort of how the brand ticks in various countries around the world. And I had the opportunity to move into the US business, which is our #1 market, and lead the Oreo business here. And I would say, it's been an amazing experience. I think all that global experience kind of coming to bear, but also I really missed being on the front lines. Like the being really in the commercial operations. I think sort of balancing what we all have to balance, right, is the short-term commercial realities with setting the brand up for long-term success. So it's been a welcome move for me, and it's been an exciting one. I think we've been doing a lot over here on Oreo, as you know, much of it with your team. So yeah, it's all in all, it's been a good shift for me.
Is it like super fun to work on a brand that's that iconic and fun? Like people work on brands all the time, and big companies get challenged, especially in this climate. But then you come along to the barbecue once we're allowed to do that, and they're or your family functions, or just being on an airplane and getting into a conversation with somebody. When they say, so what do you do? And you're like, I work on Oreo. There's like every single human smile.
Yes, it is so, I'm tingling right now. Like, it's so rewarding, honestly, because the love is so genuine. And you often will hear like, oh, my grandfather and I used to always sit in front of the fireplace and dunk Oreos or do, so it's those, it's
like warm and like, it's like sweet. Right?
It is,
like
and it really is like a privilege to work on a brand that has that kind of role in people's lives. Like, people would be really upset if this brand were erased from the earth. So it's a huge privilege. And then also, I think I've never in my career imagined I would be partnering with some of the brands that we've been able to partner with.
Yes,
like,
you've collabed your ass off.
I mean, one of my favorites is Supreme Oreo, of course. Like working with, urban streetwear icon, or with Game of Thrones last year. I think working on such an iconic brand, it gives you
permission,
a big playground, right, and permission to do things that don't always come your way.
Justin, what about e-com? I'd really like to get into this subject with you. It's a conversation that I think a lot more people need to have in general. How are you seeing it? What do you, obviously during this time, I'm making assumptions. I have no insight to this. Comfort foods like Oreo probably are doing quite nicely.
Yeah.
On the Amazons or direct to consumer, however you distribute. How do you think about that? What's the opportunity? What's your observation? Maybe officially as Justin from Oreo on it, or maybe even just Justin the human being of what have you bought online that you've never bought before, and what do you feel about it? Like, just e-com in general for a few minutes here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's crazy, the growth we're seeing in e-com right now. And we were doing very well and seeing strong growth pre-COVID, but this year, Oreo alone is up over 100% so far this year in e-commerce sales, which is crazy. And much of it is driven by COVID, people, staying at home, changing their shopping behaviors, but we're outpacing the competition. And I would say, I attribute a lot of that to the work our team has done to get the fundamentals right. And it's not sexy at all. I mean, it's literally like getting the right assortment, having the right product at the right price point for the e-com shopper. I mean, this year alone, we've launched 15 new e-commerce packs. And that's so important.
That level of innovation is insane.
It's insane. And also, I think what's important is, like with many CPG companies, our model is inherently inflexible. And so what the team had to do is really transform it, right? To say, how do we become more flexible and agile to meet the needs of the e-commerce shopper? And I think that's the number one driver, honestly, of our growth. And then what came after that was a step change in investment. So we've doubled our investment in e-commerce over the last year. And then we've just gotten a lot of the content basics right. So having the right product imagery, the right information on the products, the right, search engine optimized, all of that has been critical. And I think I say like kind of we've earned our way now to do some cooler stuff. And I'm really excited actually. Later this year, we're launching a unique online experience where we're giving our fans the opportunity to build and design their own Oreo. So it's going to be super cool. It's launching for the holidays.
At what scale? Because immediately our next guest, Nick Tran, I'm going to make some customized Oreos of his favorite sports card. So I need to hear this for his holiday gift. Hopefully you're not listening, Nick. What's the minimum? Like, this sounds big, so I'm getting excited. How small of a minimum? Because I don't like Nick that much. I don't need to buy him like 50 boxes. I need, just a little. So like, what are we talking about?
I don't have all the pricing information on me, but certainly, Gary, we can talk about it.
Well, I get that, but I'm talking for the masses.
What you're sharing, what I will say is it's super cool. You can actually enrobe your own, enrobe. It's basically, cover it with fudge or dark fudge, a white fudge, and print on it. Print it, a message on it. You could print a photo on it. So I think I've got the gift for you for next. So yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited about that. What about your own personal? I'm really genuinely curious, and I think it helps people who are watching. Anything that caught you off guard that you bought online that you're like, oh crap, I'm never gonna not buy this online anymore. Like I used to buy it this way, but I've really enjoyed this new product I found on Instagram, or I just like the way they send this in a package, or weird, this is even more fresh than when I buy it this way. Anything?
I think it's, we were already heavy Amazon Prime users. So I think if anything, we're buying everything on Prime now. We weren't buying groceries online. We're doing more of that. And how's
that going? You don't like?
I really do like it. I think for us in our house, like the staples, it's worth it because you're buying in larger quantities. It'll stay fresh. So it's been easy to make that transition. We haven't gone down the fresh route online. Like we're still, going to the store. So that's probably next to come. But, clothing, we're buying all of our clothes online.
Are you buying clothes? Because I feel like I'm selling clothes. Like I don't need any clothes. So like I'm going on like Poshmark and eBay, just trying to, I need more sports. By the way, Justin, before this is over, which is about pretty soon here, I need to convince you to basically take all your money that's in the bank and invest in sports cards. I'm that convinced. I don't know if you collected as a kid or Pokemon because you're a youngster, but like I'm telling you, it's happening.
We have I have 2 kids, so we have quite the Pokemon collection here. So I'll make sure we take good care of those. And so, but yeah, I think it's been interesting to just see how like the e-com has changed. And as for clothing, I don't have to buy much of anything other than my sports shorts, my sweat shorts. that has definitely grown in inventory in the closet.
Less pants, more like like complete sweats and things of that nature. What about your media consumption? Have you been watching anything of that nature?
So probably my problem is I'm working too much in my second home here in the basement, so I'm not consuming as much as I would like. But I definitely we've been streaming a lot more. Disney Plus, like I said, I have 2 kids, so that has taken off in our household. It's on 90% of the time.
Are you watching Hamilton on it?
We did, and I had never seen it before. It's amazing.
Oh, it's the best.
And my daughter's hooked, so it's often in the background. That was incredible move by their part. And so yeah, it's we're doing a lot more streaming. That's what I would say is just in general.
What's been the biggest challenge and what's been the coolest new insight that you've learned about yourself during COVID? Do you miss, are you the kind of guy that likes being in the office because when you get to get a coffee, you run into somebody in finance and you talk? Have you enjoyed Zooms like this with the team, or are you surprised by how much can get done from work from home? Have you been, do you just need to get out of the house a little bit more because as much as you love your family, you just like having some chapters? What's been the biggest challenge? What's been the most exciting new observation that's worked better than you thought?
Yeah, I think, I worked in global for many years. So
Yeah.
I was working a lot from home and doing video conferences. So I got used to that work lifestyle. So for me, it wasn't as maybe disruptive as it was for many of my team members. I think you were just talking about this previously. I think one of the things that's really challenged me to do as a leader is to show more vulnerability. I mean, I'm literally inviting you into my house, or I'm seeing into the house of my teammates, and I'm hearing the dogs barking, the FedEx guy interrupting a meeting while they're delivering packages, or what have you, right? And I think there's a level of just humanity with that. And despite, it can be harder at times to connect virtually, there's also this level of actually connecting on a deeper level, which has been a positive. And I think it's been important for me as a leader, certainly with my team, to create an open environment, right? Where people can talk about when they're not doing well, and reminding myself, even though I'm doing well. We were just in a conversation earlier this week with some of my peers, and they were saying how, it's a really tough time right now. Like for many people, it's just starting to really weigh on them with the quarantine and working from home. And here I am thinking like, I'm great. It's beautiful outside. And so it's like really being empathetic, like reminding myself that we're not all on the same, we're not all experiencing this the same way. And just creating that environment where people can openly share, and that you can be a resource and of help to the team. And we've done a lot of cool stuff. Like we've done the virtual happy hours. We do.
To your point, I really like where your energy is on this, Justin. To your point, you've done the tactics that lead to good things, and yet some still struggle, and being open to that and thoughtful about that as a leader is an important variable.
Absolutely. And it's just reminding, myself to check in more often, with team members on an individual level. I think that's, in 9 out of 10 times, everything's fine. But, it's that one time where someone could really be struggling and they need the support. And that's so important. I've been really happy with the company. We've done a great job of providing people support and flexibility. And it'll be interesting to see how it changes, because I think it is going to fundamentally change our concept of the workplace and how we support one another.
Cat's out of the bag. Justin, Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me a little bit of a scoop here on marketing for the now about this Oreo initiative. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to literally customize random offensive linemen from 1990s Jets players to my Jet friends. Like I literally am about to spend a lot of money on customizable Oreos. So I'm excited. Thank you, brother.
That's very cool. All right. Thanks a lot, Gary.